Alright, this is 9.1 circumference. So objective is that you will be able to find the circumference of a circle, because circumference is always pertaining to circles with at least 80% accuracy given in independent practice. So let's go over some vocabulary and then we'll go over the formula and do some problems. So the first one we need to know is the radius. So the radius is basically a line segment that goes from the center of the circle all the way to the end point on the circle. So then a circle doesn't have a beginning or an end. So then from the center all the way where it touches the circle, that will be your radius. So that would be your radius. A diameter is basically a line going from one end point of the circle to the other one. So basically it's going to pass through the center and the endpoints are on the actual circle. So then this right here will be your diameter. And as we can tell, if I go from here to here, if I go from here to here, that's a radius, and if I go from here to here, that's another radius. So therefore 2 radii is equal to diameter. So then that can hopefully help you. So again, from here to here is a radius, from here to here another radius, and then the 2 together make diameter. Okay, so and then the circumference is basically the distance around the circle. So I know that in class we did like a discovery session where we figure out the relationship there is between the diameter and the circumference, which is basically pi, but we'll just go over the actual solving of problems in this little video. So again, circumference or distance around the circle, diameter from one to the other side of the circle, right? So it has to go through the center, and the radius has to go through the center of the circle all the way to the circle. Then so we can know, we need to know these formulas, which is basically essentially the same. So circumference equals 2 pi r, where pi is 3.14, or it can also be diameter times pi. Now why is that? Because 2 radii equals 1 diameter. So I know that, right? So diameter equals 2 radii, so then they're basically the same. Okay, and then we have this right here. So let me go over that really quick. So we know the pi, and again, this is kind of like an exploration activity that we did in class. So this is pi, and pi is circumference divided by diameter. It's also known as about, this is approximately, so not exactly, but 22/7, which is 3.14. Again, about, because pi is a rational number, so it will never end. It's going to be like 3.14159, and it keeps on going and going and going. So it's an irrational number. So therefore, we know, again from our exploration, that there are about 3.14 diameters in a circle. So if I were to grab this diameter and go, like have a string and go around the circle, I would need about 3.14 of those to go around the circle, and that will be my circumference. So let me go ahead and do this ones really quick. Again, hopefully you understand the process, because this will help you with your math here and forward, especially in physics, in high school and all of that. So let me go ahead and do this one right here. So we know we're given that pi equals circumference divided by diameter. So now how can I find circumference from that? So what I have to do is, because I want to isolate my d, I have to do the opposite operation. And for me to do that, I know that c is being divided by d, so then I have to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. And what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side. So if I multiply this times z, I have to multiply that times z as well. This cancels out because it's kind of like having like something like that. So that's basically just 1, so that cancels out. It's just 1. So then I know that circumference equals diameter times pi, which is this right here. So see, that's how we got that. So then I can say diameter times pi. Okay, and I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna see if I can solve for pi. So if I'm given c equals d pi, I think that's easier to remember because it's d pi, the apple pie. I want to get pi on its own, and so d is next to it. That means that they're being multiplied. And what's opposite of multiplication? Division. So inverse operation tells me that I have to do the opposite to get rid of that. So I isolate my pi. So I have to divide by d. What I do to one side, I must do to the other side. So in any case, if anytime you need to find pi, is basically c divided by d, circumference divided by diameter, which is what we were given right here, right? And lastly, what happens if I want to solve for diameter? So then I have this, and again, this is multiplication. What's opposite multiplication? Division. And because I want to keep d on its own, I have to divide by pi to get rid of that. And remember, whenever you divide a number by itself, it's just 1. So we get rid of that, and then we do this. So if you want to find diameter, you have to get your circumference and divide it by pi. Okay? I know it's a little advanced, but I know you guys are smart. Okay, so let's get to the actual solving of this. So we're gonna use either of these formulas, but you use whatever you're given. So in this case, I'm given the radius. So then it's smart for me to use this one instead of trying to go here. So then I'm gonna write this. So I'm gonna say 2 pi r. And my radius is 10 feet. So then I know the radius is 10 feet. So that's the information I'm given. So then I'm gonna just plug in r when I see. I'm gonna plug this in when I see r. Okay? So then I go circumference equals 2 times pi times 10. Now I know the pi is 3.14 about. So I'm gonna use that information. Remember with multiplication, it doesn't matter the order that you do it. So I'm gonna take this to multiply those times each other. So that will give me 20 pi. Now sometimes they're gonna ask you to leave it in terms of pi. So that will be my answer, 20 pi feet. Okay, but if they ask you to evaluate, which will be the actual number, then I can say 3.14, right? Because that's my pi, so I can do 20 times 3.14. So when I do that, 1, 2, I get 62.80. So that means the circumference is 62 and 80 feet. That will be my answer. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one, and then I'll give you 2 to do. So this one I'm giving diameter, so I'm going to use this formula right here. So I have diameter times pi, d pi. So what's my diameter? My diameter is 10 meters, and I know pi is 3.14, so I go 10 times 3.14. Remember when we multiply by 10, or base of 10, I count the number of zeros, so that's how many times I move my decimal to the right. So then I have 31.4 is my circumference, and they're meters, so it's going to be meters. So that's my answer for that. Okay, let me give you 2 to do. Okay, so find the circumference of this circle whose radius is 5 inches. Now you're gonna find the circumference of a circle that has a diameter of 40. Ready? Ready? God bless you. Bye-bye. You're amazing. You got this. Math is magical, and your brain is amazingly brilliant.